that.
Hey, good morning, and welcome to Friday, June 24th, and we're here in sunny Claremont in the middle of the green swamp getting ready for another hot day here in Florida. So today I have some amazing guests, two candidates. One of them, Anthony Yantz, and the other one is Dr. Cindy Banyai. Let me bring them both back up over here. So these awesome guests are going to be here talking to me today for this next hour about what the hell is going on here in Florida. This last week, I mean, it wasn't too bad here, I could say that, but in the country, it's been very crazy with the January 6th things, as well as the recent SCOTUS, rulings on Second Amendment rights in a place like New York State. So just wanted to kind of get your feedback on what you guys think of what's going on lately, especially with the January 6th, hearings, because, the Democrats are paying attention, but is the other side paying attention to all this stuff is really the question. So, Cindy, what do you think?
Well, first of all, thanks, Ryan, for having me on this morning. It's great to chat and talk about these important issues in Florida and across our country. And yes, of course, like many millions of Americans, I've been following along with the January 6th committee hearings. And I'm really happy that we are to the point where the investigations are coming out and we're starting to put the story together. And my takeaway really is that it's actually a lot worse than I thought, to be honest. So I, knew that there was violence. I knew that there was a coordinated attack. We had seen all these things coming. We had seen planning right here in Southwest Florida with Roger Stone meeting the Hurricane Coast Proud Boys in Naples on January 3rd. Many of whom he was pictured with on that day have subsequently been arrested and charged with both violence and conspiracy in relation to the January 6th attacks. So we know that there's connections, but what's been laid out to us through these hearings is actually much bigger, much scarier. And the fact that we were 40 feet away from an entire coup and the death of a vice president was pretty frightening to me.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, the fact that these people are quite all right with, wishing harm on our own VP, the guy that was basically Trump's ride or die for the whole time. He basically he did whatever Trump wanted. And then all of a sudden now to be threatened with, being hung, especially with gallows being set up in front just for him alone. To me, that was just crazy. But the fact that we have all these criminals basically asking for pardons, Matt Gaetz, one of them here in Florida, the big one, as well as, all these other guys that we knew they were guilty. We knew that they were doing something wrong. For the fact that Gohmert went out there with a full bulletproof vest, like he knew something was up. If you're going to go out there wearing body armor, you're scared for a reason. So you knew something was up. So Anthony, what are your thoughts, man, on all this violence and all this stuff going on?
Listen, man, there's a whole lot to this story. And I think first and foremost, we need to point out the fact that, there's a lot of infighting right now with all the Republicans and even some of the Democrats. And they are struggling to figure out where to take their party. And you have some Republicans that are finally realizing, hey, this has gone way too far. And you have some up and coming, I'll say up and coming Republicans. I'll call them extremists. And if they're going to be the new face of the Republican Party, we have a serious issue on our hands. And I really think we need to work closely with the Republicans that are like, hey, you guys are going way too far with this. And we need to support them and get the old Republican Party back. There's a reason we have the Republican Party. We all have to have checks and balances. And although I would love to see Florida turn blue, and that is a great goal. There is a reason we have the Republican Party as well, and if it means anything to the Democrats, it would be important to at least help protect the Republicans that are willing to work with the other side, and value that, because I think that's important.
Funny you say that, because I'm actually in a district that actually has a bit of that problem. Somebody didn't jump into the congressional race against Daniel Webster, but he has a primary, and in one of those primary opponents is the, as I like to call, very dangerous QAnon crazy Laura Loomer. And I mean, that chick is just nuts. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. And the fact that she promotes herself as this crazy person and she enjoys that attention, and it's sad that this is what we have. So, and the funny thing was, I actually ran the campaign against Daniel Webster last time. Meanwhile, now I'm like, oh, I think I got to help this guy, even though I don't agree with him at all.
Exactly. And that's the thing. We got to be able to, we have to have these checks and balances, and people need to understand the Democrats aren't going to get 100% of their asks, but neither are the Republicans. The magic happens when we both get 80% and we move forward as a country. And that's where we need to get back to. And I fear that some of these extremist Republicans, like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, if there's some higher up Republicans that are afraid of them being the new face. So, yes, we need to keep with our democratic values, but we also need to support, Adam Kinzinger, who's willing to stand up and say, hey, this is what's going down. You guys are taking it too far. And the others. And we need to make sure that we are showing our support to them as well. Although we don't agree on everything, there's a reason.
Got it.
I was just going to say, you gave a little shout out there to my opponent's work wives. My opponent, Byron Donalds, it keeps close company with Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Although he publicly likes to distance himself, he was sat right between those two knuckleheads right at the State of the Union address while they were hooting and hollering at President Biden. So he's right in there with them, even though he tries to play it even and cool. He was there at January 6th at the Trump rally. My opponent voted against the free and fair election that we had, and he was absolutely close here in Southwest Florida with other folks who invaded the Capitol on January 6th. So everybody should be extremely worried about not only those fringe candidates who are willing to make a fool of themselves on TV, like Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, but also the folks who are still doing their dirty work, like Byron Donalds.
Right.
Yeah, and it's basically all those enablers that are within the state level that make these federal, congressional, and senatorial candidates look even better, because these are the people that are supporting them and giving them that power to continue to do what they're doing. And sadly enough, we have people that are, wanting to do harm to our country because they don't believe. I mean, it's crazy to me that they talk about respecting government, but they themselves have no respect for the government. And yet they'll always talk about how the government is a failure, but then they keep electing the same people back into office that keep creating these failures. And then they don't want to pay their taxes because they don't want their money going to the government, but you're fine with leaving these people in there who keep robbing the place, basically, because there is no reason why the Florida budget should be over $100 billion. I promise you, there's no reason. I, as a business consultant and somebody who does this and goes through the books and sees what's going on, I bet you I could find every single crony contract and be like, why is this costing me this much? There is no reason why we should be paying $90 million for a website for the state, especially when the same company screwed up the first one for the unemployment thing, and they had gotten paid over $80 million for a website. I've been in the web design business. I've yet to score $1 million website. And I've worked with some big companies like NBC and Polaris and Disney. So there's no reason why the state should be paying contracts like that are that insane. So, these are the things that I say, like, these states are supporting a lot of this nonsense, and we'd like to make sure that we start getting the right people in office, because we need people in there who are actually going to be transparent and really care about what's important to Florida. Now, one of the main reasons I brought you guys here today is because I know Anthony's into real estate. Cindy, you're just in a hot area. So, but the real estate market right now here in Florida has become one of the most insane markets in the country. And it's not even for a good reason, because we don't have the jobs to coincide with these rents and with these mortgages that these people are pulling through. So, what do we do? What do we? How can we handle this as leaders in Florida, as a legislator, as a congressperson? What can we do? Because to me, this is basically the fundamental reason that these people fight for capitalism, and it's unfettered, uncapped, unregulated capitalism that's really destroying this country right now. It is simply amazing that we have let this place become a corporate oligarchy. It's just, there's no more democracy at this point, because our votes don't seem to count when you have corporations basically paying for these legal or laws to basically bend to their will. As a commissioner of agriculture, one of the things that we've discovered is the fact that the AG lobbied for the removal of basically all the lawsuits that would fall in their laps because of what they're doing, or whatever whatever damages they're causing. So, this is not uncommon with even bigger corporations like Amazon's and all that stuff. So, for this place to have become now the most expensive place to live, yet we don't have jobs that pay living wages, is a complete failure in our leadership. So, which one of you would like to take on this one first? Anthony, I'll go with you first, but because you're the expert.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was able to pull up the market statistics overall for single-family homes in Florida as of May 2022, and I'll just read off some of the statistics that I found. We had about 28,861 closed sales in May of 2022, and in May of 2021 we had 31,000 closed sales. So we actually had a decrease of about 6.9%. The median sale price, and this is overall in Florida, and what I would encourage people to do is go on to the Florida Realtors website, and you could probably look up your direct area as well for, because it's going to be different between here, Miami, Tallahassee, and so forth. The median sale price overall in May of 2022 was $420,000. And May 21 was $345,000. So we had a 21.8% increase in just this year as far as median sales overall in Florida. We do have an issue with local here, especially where renters are getting they don't have enough protection from landlords. And so one of the things that I would like to see is that we figure out a way to protect renters more than just in the real estate contract, because I think what I'm hearing is that landlords are able to scoot out of their contract easier due to legislation that allows them to increase the rent significantly on people, or they et cetera. So, and that all, there's a lot that encompasses this. I mean, as you said, Ryan, we don't have wages that support living. Right now, our school board races, they want to get more money through taxes. And a lot of people are up in arms about that because, well, the millage rate hasn't gone up in a very long time and hasn't moved up with the times. And so complaining that it's going to jump, it's like, well, it should have been moving up gradually a long time ago. And if that had been the case, we'd be seeing a very different outcome as far as, supporting our school systems here, which do support our parents who need to work And so there is a lot that encompasses that. And I think all of Florida is seeing that. And all over the country, really.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's just, there's just so much going on. And one of the biggest things I talk about is we need to figure out a way to regulate corporations and hedge funds from picking up all this property. I just read an article where Sachs Goldman, whatever, walked in and basically picked up 80% of the homes in a new development, which basically put out 80% of a bunch of people for being able to purchase a new home. There should be some sort of regulation on that, because I personally live in one of those homes. I'm not cool with it. Invitation homes, and their mortgages haven't gone up.
Well, if we talk about back when Brexit was huge in the media, there were a large influx of folks that wanted to dump their money into real estate over here in the United States. And so that also, I would be interested to see what kind of role that played in these larger companies dumping money here into lots of land.
I can tell you,
they're just going to hold on to it.
Well, look what happened in Miami. You have a bunch of buildings that have nobody living in them, but they've been bought up.
Yeah. So I don't know that, because I don't my sphere here in Brevard County. So I don't tend to pay attention to all these empty buildings in Miami, but that's why I would encourage people to look at their specific area and be like, okay, what can we do? And I do think we need to work closely with developers on affordable housing. Time and time again, it's been proven that affordable housing increases productivity of a community, and it actually provides for the community. And if the developers aren't going to play ball, then we need to force their hand. And
we should be forcing their hand. In order for them to get these contracts that they want, they should be forced to build a certain amount of affordable housing. That should be the contract.
Right.
If you want to build in the state of Florida,
and not giving them
anything.
Right. And not giving them deals on land impact fees, because what I'm hearing is that, these developers are able to scoot away and destroy these lands without really having to pay. And we really need to hone in on some serious impact fees if these developers want to come in and clear cut large, vast amounts of land.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not fair either, too, because they're destroying farms. They're destroying natural wild habitats that are important. Over here in my area in the Green Swamp, they're literally building homes where you should not be building them in the swamp. Like, why would you want to do that? But this is what happens here because of complete greed, unfettered capitalism that's just not being regulated properly. We're letting these people basically dictate the rules here. Florida is no longer a democracy. We have an oligarchy ruled by corporations, or basically the top 1% here in Florida. And they enjoy that. They don't want to change it. Right. They don't want it to be any different. That's why you see them pouring millions upon millions of dollars into our candidates or into our opposing candidates, because they are actually looking to keep the status quo. We cannot let this. We outnumber these people. We could show them what's up at the polls. Cindy, what do you got to say about this whole issue with this housing crisis? Because this is just nuts.
It is totally nuts. But there's a couple things I want to say. First of all, is that I just want everybody to really fully realize that these most affordable housing situations right now, the solutions lie with the state, the municipal, and the county governments. So we need to be paying close attention to who we're electing in those areas. So here in Southwest Florida, I am in Fort Myers and Naples area. We know that the people who are serving on our county commission are the ones who are in the pockets of the developers. They give away subsidies, they reduce impact fees, and then that makes it really hard for even anybody to develop the land in a way that is going to be conducive for whatever you want to call it now. You want to call it affordable housing, you want to call it workforce housing. I just saw an email today from a Chamber of Commerce calling it middle housing. whatever, not wealthy luxury properties. Let's say that, because that's what they prioritize because they have dollar signs in their eyes. Okay. So really everybody needs to pay attention to who we're electing there. That's one of the reasons why I work collaboratively with our down ballot candidates here, because I realize at the federal level, we can't solve everything, but at the federal level, we can support various kinds of laws as well as grants and subsidies to encourage cities to invest and counties to invest in affordable and workforce housing, and set some precedent around how we can develop policy in a way that doesn't leave our 99% of the communities out. I also want to say that I understand the situation that everyday Americans are in right now, because I'm caught up in the housing crisis myself. So I had a beautiful home that I owned in 2019, 2020. I lost it in my divorce. I had to sell it because I had to pay off some debt after that. And then I became a renter in my area. And I thought it was bad enough when I had to rent in 2020, and I was paying a really large amount of money for a house. That same house decided to sell because it's a hot market. And now I'm paying actually $300 more a month than my original mortgage that I had when I was a homeowner, to live 20 miles outside of the city. And also, they decided at the last minute, because the market was hot, that they were going to sell my house out from underneath me, which was chaotic in and of itself. And this is a story that's playing out all across Florida, all across the United States, where regular working folks are getting pushed out. And like you said, these houses are being bought up by people who are moving here, second homeowners, as well as those investors. And we have to keep forefront in our mind that this is affecting everyday people. And we have to be serious about the solutions we're putting forth for it.
Well said. I like it.
Definitely. That's definitely the thing. So right now in the state of Florida, we have people like Chris Sprouse, Wilton Simpson, Ron DeSantis, and basically Jimmy Patronis, who are refusing to do anything, refusing to listen to the people, refusing to even set up a special session to deal with this dilemma. The money that they actually got from the Biden administration to help people during the crisis for rent and all that stuff, you realize that they didn't really disperse most of that money. That money was kept. And that's how these people are getting these. This is how the teachers, the police, and all these people are getting these extra $1,000 bonus checks that DeSantis seems to be so inclined to give out as, pay for play type of thing. But we know the truth. We know he's using Biden money to really just kind of grease these pockets to continue to do his bidding, because people want him to continue with the status quo. We don't want the status quo here in Florida. It's gotten to be really gross. It's become an authoritarian regime that needs to be stopped. He talks about freedom and being the freest state, when in all honesty, we are not in a free state. The fact that we cannot say gay, that we can't talk about that to people, or that we can't talk about history, actual history. And if your kid is learning CRT, congratulations, he's in law school. But other than that, this place has just become a culture war nightmare, and I'm really getting fed up with a lot of the nonsense. So, what are the things that you guys are thinking we need to start focusing on for this election, or it really just kind of get us out of this danger zone that we're in with this GOP? Because they're just rallying up they're getting their base basically frothing at the mouth with this culture war BS, while we're sitting here going, what the F is going on? Why are these people not even paying attention to what's important? I'll talk to you about my policy points, and these people are like, culture war, yay. It reminds me of that episode in Family Guy where Lois is running for mayor and Stewie and Brian are letting her know, like, just say simple words, and she'd be like 9/11, and everybody would just be screaming. Like, we've gotten to that point, kids. This is that comedy show right there. That's exactly what everybody's doing right now. They're paying attention to these stupid little culture war things, and they're not paying attention to really the important things. And the important things are that we're getting robbed. We're being robbed at the source by the guys who are in power. So, that $150 million that showed up in Mr. DeSantis' account didn't just magically appear there. There's a lot of favors and a lot of, how do I say it, kickbacks and a lot of, I'll rub your back if you rub my back type of things going on there, and we all know that. So
well, he likes to stout his Florida savings account, and we need to be using that money to pay our school bus drivers. We need to be using that money to encourage more teachers to come here to Florida and want to teach. We have teachers leaving in droves because they're like, this is not what I signed up for. This is not why I do this. And we really need to just step up, and we need to call it like it is, and we need to help move Florida forward.
We do. I mean, right now, our children's future depends on us. When people ask me why I'm running, it's basically because our children's future is in peril. We have completely dropped the ball on this whole thing because we were not paying attention. We were too busy living our lives, not realizing that these people had a plan in place to really screw us. And now they're really screwing us because they learned from the one grifter how to grift. Right. The orange man basically taught all these guys the tricks of the trade and how to grift, and they're all doing it now. And it's sad.
If it's not any more of an indication that DeSantis is not in this reasons, he just refused to order vaccines. Every other state, whether Democrat or Republican, ordered them. Yep. And it just, that right there should tell you there's something wrong. I mean, you have Republicans in many other states, and they're like, yes, let's pre-order these vaccines. Let's get them here to the physicians, to the pediatricians. And he's like, no, we're not going to partake in that. And
he had a backtrack. He's
not the only Republican here.
Yeah, no, he had to backtrack a few, and because he realized, I'll let the doctors order them if they want it, but I'm not bothering them. But still, that's what I call an a-hole move, because you're the leader of the state and you're supposed to be the one in charge of getting these things taken care of. Instead, you're saying, whatever, let them deal with it. I'm not responsible for that. You are. Damn it, it sucks that we have to deal with a governor that is this disgusting, doesn't really give a crap about anybody. And, sadly, this is the question I get asked a lot by people. And they're like, so what happens, let's say, if you win your race and he's still governor? What do you plan on doing? It's just, I don't want to sit there and be like, I'm going to obstruct him or I'm going to do everything I can to mess with him, because that's not exactly what I want to do. I don't want to cause any problems in the state. My goal is just basically to do the job. Let's do what needs to get done. And if you guys want to mess with me, whatever, but I'm going to do what I need to get done because I came here for a reason. So we just got to agree that it's time that we all just step up and just start doing what we need to do. We really got to make sure that we get people out to vote this election. This is really crazy that, we have people that are not registered to vote in this state and are ignoring these elections and not realizing how important and how close to losing their shit they are, because these guys are about to take your stuff. They're going to mess you up. They don't care about what you do or what you are, what you've done, because all they care about is, are you one of my donors and how big of a donor are you? Because then I'll worry about you if you're big enough. And it's really sad because, you can tell who's getting all these, Cindy is on mute. So you could tell who's getting all these things paid for when you see all this money. Right now, like for me in my position, I'm at war with big casino. Big casinos trying to come in, and they're trying to really ruin Florida by bringing in, these unfettered, uncontrolled casinos. Wilton Simpson just did something that's called decoupling. He basically took off the what would force a casino to do in order to be a casino here in the state of Florida. And usually it involves some sort of like games like horse racing, dog racing, or, some of the other type of game situations that were usually incorporated. That's now been taken off the plate. No longer a casino needs that. So that was one of the big steps that they were taking to give basically clear path for the casino people to come in and not have to make that investment into that whole thing. So now these guys are basically frothing at the mouth right now, waiting for Wilton to become the new ag commissioner so they could come in and take over. And these are the things that we need to focus. We need to focus on our communities. Bringing in casino into our communities is not good. I know. I've seen what it happens down in Atlantic City. It's terrible.
Hey, Ryan, I wanted to pull back to a point that you made a little bit ago about the erosion of democracy. And you said it kind of in the beginning, and it's been a theme that we've seen through here as well. I know that my opponent, Byron Donald, he actually will backtrack on the word democracy. He will say, no, we're a republic. And I think part of that is like some bizarre messaging strategy where it's like democracy, Democrat, Republic, Republicans, good. But I also think it's a fundamental walk back from the idea that we have a stake in this country, and that's what we're supposed to do. He's normalizing minoritarian rule, which is what we have and what they want, right? So you've heard lots of folks in the GOP talk about, well, it doesn't matter if a majority of people want background checks for guns. It doesn't matter if a majority of people want a registration system because we think this is the right way. And they use that for also, healthcare, women's healthcare, reproductive rights. They don't care what the majority of people think because they are self-righteous. We're also seeing, it's far-right Christian nationalism taking over, and that's what's driving things like the rollback of reproductive freedoms that we've seen here in Florida, and we'll probably see coming from the SCOTUS decision any day now, essentially. And that's what's got me worried. I have been a longtime person who's loved politics since I was a teenager. I actually spent my entire life here learning about politics, international relations. I got an undergraduate, a master's, and a PhD because I love it so much. I've published on good governance around the world. And I have always appreciated the way that our country is working, right? And that we were the pillar of democracy around the world, and that we showed everybody that we do not need authoritarianism, that we can have majority rule, that we can have debate, that we can have a peaceful transfer of power. But from my professional opinion of over 25 years of being involved in politics, I am worried. I am worried, especially by what I see Ron DeSantis doing here in Florida. We know that we've heard Nikki Fried, the current agricultural commissioner, talking about his consolidation of power, how nothing that was not the leadership's decision made it to the floor of the state legislature. So even within their own party, they are controlling one another, and it is a pay to play, and it is a do what you're told and you will be rewarded type of system. This is no longer a discussion of individual leaders about how and what to do that is best for our people and our state and our country. This is a top-down controlled situation where even here last week when we were qualifying, Ron DeSantis handpicked somebody to be our next state senator. And a last-minute move, Ray Rodriguez was the incumbent. He decided to retire and take a really amazing, I'm sure, really well-paid job in the Ron DeSantis administration. And then they just put in their next far-right Liberty University educated person who's going to come in. And my worry is, and I'm going to say it here publicly for the very first time, my worry is that if we lose this election in 2024, we are looking at a Florida legislature with Ron DeSantis who is going to certify Donald Trump as the winner no matter what. And we're going to have a de facto bloodless coup on our hands where we have the real United States and the free states of Florida and Texas and all the other Republican nut places around here. And that's what I see coming as a public administration expert, as somebody who's worked in democracy initiatives around the world. I am extremely worried. And so you're 100% right, Ryan, when you said that this election, we've got to get people motivated. And so I'm actually starting to talk about this right now because we are like, this is red alert time for everybody who wants to continue to live in a democracy and have freedom and human rights. It is that dire of a situation. We are on the verge of becoming a very, very dangerous, unstable dictatorship.
Yep. And see, now, one of the things that most people don't understand is that they're just seeing the front end of everything. They're not seeing the other part, which is basically we're being screwed over right now by the Federalist Society. And if you don't know who the Federalist Society is, I suggest you go look them up. Right now, they are dangerous. They are running your courts. They are your lawyers. They are people in power. These people's agenda is basically to push a hyper, super crazy right-wing agenda, which includes the destroying of Roe versus Wade, the amplification of the Second Amendment with the, as they call their constitutional carry, but is basically a permitless carry law. As you saw them strike down the one in New York that had been in place for over a century. So they're doing it. And Florida was just a testing ground because they knew they have full control of Florida. So right now, that's the other thing that scares me, that if we sue these people during the election, that we're going to be dealing with these Federalist Society judges or lawyers. So we're going to need to start figuring out who and all are part of this society, because those people need to be outed and they need to be basically exposed for who they are, because their agenda is terrible. It's anti-democratic, it's unpatriotic, it's un-American, and it is not the way that things should be. You should not be able to manipulate laws and power for your agenda, for your benefit, the way that these people are doing it. It is not right. It should not be the way. And we need to really focus on explaining to people how dangerous this whole thing is that these people are doing. So, Anthony, what are your thoughts, man, on some of that? Because this is just getting crazy with this stuff.
It's deep. It's deep, and there's not going to be an easy answer. It's just collaborating with like-minded people and figuring out how we can move forward in educating people and helping them understand the processes of our systems.
Yep.
The Republicans want to make it difficult for people to vote. We know that. That's been a common play. We need to figure out a way to codify making it easier for people to vote. I mean, it's 2022. It should be a hell of a lot easier for people to vote, and it still be very secure. But we know there's going to be a lot of talking points from the opposition about it's not safe to do it that way. That's why you have to do it in person. And these are talking points that we just really need to hone in on destroying.
Yeah, and we do. It's just interesting that they'll focus on these culture war issues. Like right now, the drag queens. When the hell did it become an issue for, like, I've never had any issues with the drag queens. Like, I mean, look, basically, to me, drag queens are like clowns. They're people who get in makeup and they entertain people. They're not there to sexualize anything. They're there to be funny or just.
It's entertainment.
It's art. It's entertainment. It's not meant to be sexualized.
Right. It's expression. It's a form of self-expression, and we should afford people the freedoms to do that. Yep. If they are expressing themselves in a way that they feel comfortable, we should support that. We don't have to agree on all of it.
So we're getting questions over here. So I guess we should. Yeah,
cool. I love questions.
So they want to know, what is our strategy? What do we plan on doing? Because we basically have 2 months, less than 2 months, for the primary, and 4 months basically for an election. So, what should we be telling people to help us do? Because right now, I feel like nobody's listening. Everybody's just kind of laying low and not paying attention because they're too busy trying to get their lives out of the pandemic mode. But we got to figure out and let them know that if we don't red alert this quickly, your life is going to go back into an even worse pandemic mode, and you might even lose everything now this time around. Harley. So, what is the Florida party doing? You know what? We're still waiting to hear from them. So we will be hearing from them July 16th or that whole weekend, and letting them tell us what they plan on doing. But what we're doing is basically we're going to be on the attack. We're going to be doing things differently. We're working with some amazing strategists and some amazing people to basically help us get through the mundane noise and focus on what really matters. I know for me, my campaign is, and funny enough, Not one of my opponents, primary or GOP, is talking about what's necessary for the position of agriculture for commissioner. I'm the only one. I actually am the only one talking about cleaning up our waters. I'm the only one talking about protecting our farms. I'm the only one talking about actually doing stuff that matters for the state of Florida and basically restoring the Everglades, which to me is the most important thing. Not one of my opponents is talking about any of these points. They're just talking about, oh, I'm the fixer and I'm here to go to Tallahassee and, tell them what to do. And what the hell are you talking about, man? We need to make sure that we're getting things done, that things are happening quickly, because our environment and our climate cannot handle this GOP nonsense anymore. But yes, we need money. We need to fundraise. Cindy, you know what? I'm going to give you a few minutes. I want you to sell yourself to these people and tell them why you are the right candidate to get in there in Congress and do what you need to do, because we got to get people to help you out and do what basically fundraise. So you guys are going to have to visit her website, do all these things, volunteer for her, please.
Absolutely. Okay, so there's a couple things, Ryan, that I want to talk about, because it's actually goes back to what we were saying in the beginning, right? It's that Democrats have to stop being such pushovers, okay? Like, now is the time to stand up. So that's why I'm out there supporting activists. That's why I'm talking about what needs to be talked about. I'm talking with the Moms Demand people who want to make schools and our communities safe for kids. I'm working with the pro-choice advocates to make sure that we don't lose our body autonomy. I'm working with our local pride organizations to support their rights and freedoms in this country, because that is what is at stake right now. The people's lives and how they live it is at stake right now. And you're right, Florida has been the testing ground and they're rolling things back. So we have to continue messaging about it. We have to let people know about the consequences of some of these laws that are passing, because you're right, people are not necessarily paying attention. We have to get them invigorated, and we have to continue to run the ground game. Now, I look to our party, both our state and local Democratic parties, to do their job of getting people registered to vote, getting people their absentee ballots, and then, making sure that they show up. My job as a candidate is to tell them why they need to show up and to give them the inspiration that we can actually make the change. So I am Dr. Cindy Banyai. I'm the Democratic nominee for U.S. House of Representatives, Florida 19, and I am working to fight for our water, our health, and our community. And I'm here to create a Southwest Florida where the sun shines on everyone. I am the only pro-choice candidate in the race. I am the only person who is advocating for gun sense. I am the only person who supports equality for all. And I am here to fight in the U.S. House of Representatives to make sure we are doing the work to codify body autonomy, to codify equality for all. And we need your help, because we are in an often overlooked district, but we do have an amazing team and we are ready to get to work. So if you want to help us this summer, we have a lot of amazing opportunities. We are doing everything from boat and beach canvassing. We are doing calls and texts. So you want to get involved in that, we have a place for you. And dollars, absolutely. Dollars matter. I'm a grassroots candidate. I won only the 5 districts in the state of Florida that moved in the Democratic direction in 2020. And I flip votes more efficiently than anyone in the state of Florida. And it costs me $4.40 to flip a vote. So you give me $5, that's one more person who's going to make a change for us in this state. So you can check me out I'm going to put the links in there, but cindybanyai.com is where you get in touch with me.
Here we go. There you go.
That energy. There's no way, Cindy, I'm going to top that.
Well, you're going to have to, because you're up.
I'm up. Okay, thank you. So I am the Florida State House candidate that will represent District 33 and the people in it, not big corporations. I believe in a brighter, more sustainable, and equitable future for our district. As a dad to 5 kids, I want to ensure that all of our kids inherit a livable future and have equitable access to opportunities to succeed. Out of my 5 kids, 4 are girls. They will have the right to make their own choices with their own bodies. My son will learn to respect women and the extreme times women have gone through to become equal to men. And we still have a lot of work to do. They will have bodily autonomy. No government is going to control our bodies. As a person who grew up in the foster care system, I know the importance of caring and compassionate communities, one where people look out for each other and have each other's backs. After years of enduring divisive political climate, I want to restore a sense of stability and collective care to this community. I want to uplift your stories, joys, and struggles, and build policy in partnership with you to solve issues and impact your daily lives. District 33 is made up of resilient, compassionate, hardworking people, of friends and neighbors who care about one another in our community. And you deserve state leadership that will stand up against hate and division and fight for the rights of you and your families. At the end of the day, I know there's more that unites us than separates us. No matter your party affiliation, we all want safe, thriving communities where a high quality of life is the norm, not the exception. I'm Anthony Yantz, and I'm running for State House District 33 here in Brevard County. And you can go to my website, www.standwithyantz.com. I believe Ryan's going to have all of that in there. You can find me on social media, especially TikTok. I love TikTok. And I appreciate all of you. And I hope to gain your support. Did I get anywhere close to Cindy?
You did good.
Okay, thank you. That's all I care about.
Great story, Anthony. I love it. You have the passion and the heart that we need in the Florida legislature.
Well, I definitely want to say that I am actually endorsing both of these two candidates. So Anthony and Cindy are part of my endorsement list of people that I will be supporting this election. So as a statewide candidate, that is something that I will be doing, to work with down ballot candidates and make sure that we help everybody get elected, because we need as many Democrats elected to office so we could reverse some of the wrongs and damages that these guys have been doing. Real quickly, my name is Ryan Morales. I'm running to be the next Commissioner of Agriculture here in the state of Florida. I'm also running to be the first Latino and the first Native American commissioner in the state of Florida. I'm hoping to make history here, and I'm hoping to actually take care of business. One of the main things that we want to take care of is restoring the Everglades by cleaning all our waterways. I have the technology and the know-how coming in from people that are already doing the job out in the Pacific Ocean. These people are coming in here to help me restore the seagrass and restore the clean waters that we need to make sure that we save Florida. Florida is a state that depends on its environment for its tourism, and its tourism is what generates our tax dollars that pay for everything here that we get. Don't worry, Cindy, I see you waving around.
All right, come back. But Ryan, we have breaking news.
Dime, talk to me.
SCOTUS just struck down Roe V Wade.
Motherfuckers. Sorry. Did I just say that?
Yeah, struck down Roe V Wade, huh?
I'm tingling from head to toe. We knew it was going to happen. We knew it was coming. And
these motherfuckers, dude. This is Clarence Thomas and that Federalist Society agenda BS. They're pushing it through.
It came out. It's here. We knew it was coming. We were holding out hope that it was going to change somehow, but it doesn't look like it's changed very much.
All right. So you know what? This is what I'm going to say right now. Ladies, you better get your butts up. You better go out and vote. You better get everybody out to vote. This is ridiculous. I am sorry, but this pisses me off. This is something that was a 14th Amendment right. It's been a right for over 50 years. This is just bullshit. This is this Christian Sharia law BS. I'm sorry, women, that you have to go through this, and this is just going to be the war this is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back, because this is just bullshit. They're attacking everybody.
And it crosses all party lines. This is a thing that it's going to attack all women. And they're waking a sleeping beast. And
you know what? And I hope so. I hope it does, because right now we need to get all of them out of there. And this is the right year to do that, because it's a redistricting year. This is bullshit. This is something they talk about protecting amendment rights. You guys just what we've been wanting to kind of do and fix with the Second Amendment, they just completely wiped out the 14th. Like, what the F? All right, so We got a war.
We got work to do, everybody. That's what it comes down to. We got work to do. We knew this was coming. It is going to be making sure that we elect people like Ryan Morales and Anthony Yantz in the state level, because you are going to be the ones that go to Tallahassee and ensure that you get within the state legislative powers the rights of people for equality, because we know that's coming next, but making sure that people have the right to body autonomy. And for me, at the federal level, we need more pro-choice candidates to get up to the federal level so that we can pass body autonomy rights at the federal level as well. It's going to be a level fight for us, but we are now in the position where these far-right Christian nationalists have taken over our courts, like Ryan said, at the Federalist Society, taken over our Supreme Courts, taken over so many of our state legislatures and gubernatorial positions, that we are on the verge of very, very serious rollbacks of rights and individual liberties in this country. And we have to take it serious. We have to get people out to vote. And this is the time, everybody. So make sure that you're going to the ballot box. Make sure you're going and getting people registered. People are voting August 23rd for the primaries, and then November 8th for the general election.
Yeah, please make sure you're registered to vote by, I believe, the last date is July 13th, I believe, or something like that, to get registered.
July 25th.
July 25th. Thank you.
Close the book.
Yep. So let's make sure that everybody's registered, because this is just nonsense. I'm sorry. This is not the news. Yeah, this is not the news that we wanted to hear on a Friday morning.
No, we had such a high point here. We had hope that we were going to do it, and then it dropped. And I'm glad that we were here, that we can talk about it with the folks who are following us. But
we got to get people to donate. We got to get people to donate to all these candidates. We got to get help. We got to stop the GOP. Look, my opponent has 14 million. I've only been able to secure 1 million. I still need another 5 to compete with this guy properly. I need everybody's help. If you can please donate, we really would appreciate it, because we got to fight. We got to fight this fight. Anthony needs to help us out. He's running against one of the biggest dickheads that we know in Florida. Randy Fine is probably
man. He's got casino money.
Yeah, and that's exactly all he is. He's a scumbag casino guy. Like, it's bad. We got to get these people out of there. We basically have the swamp in the swamp over here. Like, come on, get these people out. They're trash. They're destroying our state. They're destroying our democracy. They're basically selling out to the highest bidder. This is just ridiculous. So Roe versus Wade has just now been fucking overturned, and we are not happy about this. So earmuff if you get offended here easily, but fuck these guys.
Fuck these guys. Fuck the far right nationalists. Fuck these people trying to control our bodies, and fuck the Supreme Court for letting it happen, and fuck every single person who doesn't get out to vote, because now is the time that we need to stand up and actually take back this country from this crazy ass minoritarian rule that these bullshit self-centered politicians have been pushing on us. You thought I had a lot of energy before, Anthony. You just wait to see how energized I get after this.
I don't want to see you later beat the crap out of anybody, Cindy. I know you're a boxer. Please be nice.
Everybody better remember that. I've been at these rallies. The Proud Boys came down to the last rally that we had in Fort Myers when we were fighting for our rights. And by the way, everybody, every city that you're in right now, 6:30 p.m. tonight, you're meeting outside of your local courthouse. This has been something that we've been planning. Right here in Fort Myers, we're going to be meeting. We have groups like the Women's March, Bands Off Our Bodies, and Planned Parenthood, and the Red Cloaks. We are meeting downtown Fort Myers outside of the courthouse, because we will not be silenced. We will not go back in time. Women's rights, body autonomy is absolutely imperative, and we will not stop fighting. So yes, and if Proud Boys, you show up, see what happens. I will get up out of this wheelchair and beat you. If you get in my face again, you touch another one of my staff, I'm coming for you. I'm not afraid. I will be right there. I've fought bigger bullies than you before.
Yeah, and that's all they are, is bullies. These are the people that were just, I don't get it, that they need a little love. And I know I say this jokingly all the time, but I'm very serious. We just need to legalize prostitution, because I swear some of these people just need to get laid. Gosh, please.
I told them. They're offended.
Don't tell Lauren Boebert
that. Like, it's clear that you've never had consensual sex in your life. So, please, get away from me and my people. But they attacked my staff. They destroyed her signs, and it didn't hit the media because the police were standing there right next to the Proud Boys, even though they punched an elderly woman in the face and broke another woman's arm. So they are not afraid. They're protected by the police. But I'll tell you what, we're going to get all the women. We're going to get all the people who are with us and fighting for equality, and we will not back down. Like I said, I'm going to get up. I'm still in a wheelchair because my leg is broken still. But watch me.
No, this is nonsense. The fact that they have this authoritarian police, basically, because the Proud Boys have basically been Ron DeSantis's little SS police force going around. And I know now with his new law that he's going to make them official is just complete utter nonsense, because he's going to put these crazies in there that are going to do whatever he tells them to do. So welcome to Florida. So we need to do something about it. So I am going to pull this for a close because I know Anthony's got to go take care of his kids. Cindy needs to go take care of that leg, and Cindy needs to go get mad because she's really mad right now.
Punching bag in the garage.
I'm like, I'm scared, but I'm here to help.
You guys are on the right side. It's those Proud Boys that should be running because I got them.
I
got their number.
Yeah. Well, I know. My wife just walked in to tell me Roe versus Wade. You're a few minutes late, but we're here talking about it live.
Hey, now's the time. Hit Twitter, hit social.
Everybody.
We're doing it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. So you're good. So Tammy's apologizing, but Tammy's right to be mad. She just walked in here pissed.
See what happens? That's what I'm saying.
Look, man, this is bullshit. This is not the way it's supposed to be. The Federalist Society just fucking got another notch on their post. They did it yesterday with the other day with the New York State thing. Now they're doing it with this. This is a complete and utter erosion of our democracy. We are losing it to oligarch corporations, and we're losing it to people who think that they're in the right when they're completely in the wrong side of history. So, all right,
we won't back down.
No, we can't back down. So please, everybody, whoever's watching this, know that we got some work to do. Please let everybody know. Help these candidates out. Let's work together. Let's get everybody to volunteer and help these candidates amplify their messages. We need to win this state back. This is a purple state. We have the numbers here in this state. Believe me, we do. If you can count, you'll know that. We have the numbers here. And funny enough, the Democrats are the ones that usually make miracles happen because we're the ones that actually unite people. We're the ones that get people together. It's not this other party. This other party, they're basically a well-organized crime syndicate right now that's robbing the place and is going to screw up our democracy. They're doing this for the sake of enriching themselves. They're enriching themselves, and that's all they're doing. These guys are going to die with money up the wazoo. You can't take that with you when you die. And I hope you choke on it, motherfuckers, because this is just bullshit. Sorry.
Let it all out, Ryan. We got to go. You're right. We got to work. So thank you.
We got to go. So thank you, everybody, for a great show.
I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you guys a lot. But this is a real pisser, and we should all be mad right now because fuck these guys. Yeah. All right. Love you. Good night.
You too. All right. See everybody soon.